They say if you stand on a hill in Los Angeles at night, you can see every dream in the world flickering in the distance, millions of them, glowing like stars in the dark. But what they don't tell you is how many of those dreams crash and burn before the sun rises. This city doesn't hand out miracles, it tests you, breaks you, and dares you to keep going. Because Los Angeles isn't a place you just live in, it's a place you survive, a place you chase something you can't quite touch, but refuse to stop reaching for. This isn't just the story of a city, it's the story of an idea, of beauty and struggle, of fame and failure, of glitter and grit, all mixed into one wild, never-ending script. This is Los Angeles. And this is how it became the city that built America's biggest dreams and broke them too. It doesn't begin with the flashing lights of Hollywood, or the traffic-packed freeways, or the endless beaches basking under a California sun. Los Angeles begins with something quieter: an old riverbed, some dust, and a group of settlers who could never have imagined that the little pueblo they built would become a global icon. Long before anyone shouted, "Action!" or dreamed of Oscars, there was a land of hills and valleys, of native peoples and Spanish missionaries, of droughts and floods and ambition, baked under a desert sky. Los Angeles did not rise all at once. It emerged slowly, like a dream taking shape in the heat. A city born not from conquest or commerce alone, but from an idea, an ever-changing, often chaotic, always compelling idea of possibility. Centuries ago, the Tongva people lived along the Los Angeles River, thriving on acorns, fish, and trade. Their world was disrupted when Spanish missionaries arrived in the 1700s, planting crosses and building missions. In 1781, El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Ángeles was founded, the town of Our Lady, the Queen of Angels. It was small, humble, just a few families, but it would grow, and it would change. Mexico claimed the land after gaining independence from Spain in 1821. Then, after the Mexican-American War, California was ceded to the United States in 1848. Gold was discovered not long after, and suddenly the entire West was open for the taking. Los Angeles was a backwater compared to San Francisco, but it had something else: space, sunshine, and a mythos already forming. The railroad arrived in the 1870s, linking Los Angeles to the rest of the nation. Land was cheap, and the weather was perfect. Orange groves stretched for miles. Developers marketed the area as paradise. Health seekers came for the dry air. Writers came for inspiration. And immigrants, Mexican, Chinese, Japanese, Italian, Russian, came in search of opportunity. But nothing would change Los Angeles more than a whisper that became a roar: movies. At the turn of the 20th century, filmmakers began arriving from the East Coast, drawn by the light, the space, and the legal distance from Thomas Edison's patents. By 1910, the first studio had opened in Hollywood. By the 1920s, it was the movie capital of the world. Silent film stars became household names. The Hollywood sign, first erected in 1923 as Hollywoodland, became a symbol of fantasy, ambition, escape. Los Angeles grew like a wildfire. Oil was discovered, the port expanded, the aviation industry took root, the population soared. The water was piped in from Owens Valley in a controversial aqueduct project that forever transformed both regions. And freeways, miles and miles of concrete, veins pushed the city outward into suburbs and valleys and canyons. There was no center, no walls. Los Angeles was a city that sprawled and morphed, a city that refused to be tamed. It was beautiful and brutal, glamorous and gritty. For every mansion in Beverly Hills, there was a slum in Watts. For every premiere on Sunset Boulevard, there was a tent under a freeway overpass. Los Angeles became a city of contrasts, of reinvention, of survival. It was a place where dreams could come true and where they could be crushed. In the 1930s, the Great Depression hit hard, But Hollywood offered escape. Musicals, romances, noir, thrillers. The studios created an America that didn't exist, and Americans paid to believe in it. The city's population continued to grow. During World War II, its factories produced planes, tanks, and ships. Women filled the assembly lines. Black Americans migrated west for jobs and dignity. Japanese Americans were forced into internment camps. The war changed the city, and when it ended, the city exploded in size. By the 1950s, Los Angeles was the future. The freeways were gleaming. The suburbs were booming. The television industry joined film to make the city a media empire. Teenagers cruised in convertibles. Surfers rode Pacific waves. Families visited Disneyland, which opened in 1955 just south in Anaheim. The image of Los Angeles became global, sunny, happy, modern. But beneath the sunshine, tension brewed. Racial segregation and police brutality simmered in communities like Watts and South Central. In 1965, those tensions exploded in the Watts riots, 6 days of unrest that left dozens dead and exposed the city's deep divides. And yet, the city kept going. It rebuilt. It expanded. It rebranded. By the 1980s, Los Angeles had become a symbol of excess. Skyscrapers filled the skyline. The music industry exploded. Hip-hop took root in Compton. Wealth grew, but so did inequality. Crime surged. Gangs battled for territory. The LAPD, led by hardline chiefs, cracked down, often brutally. Tensions rose again. And in 1992, after the acquittal of 4 officers who had beaten Rodney King on video, the city once again erupted. The LA riots were among the most destructive in U.S. history. Fires lit up the skyline. Stores were looted. Lives were lost. And once again, Los Angeles had to look at itself and ask, who are we? The 1990s brought recovery. New waves of immigrants revitalized neighborhoods. The Latino population surged. Koreatown, Little Tokyo, Chinatown, and dozens of other enclaves added layers to the city's cultural quilt. The economy diversified. Tech, fashion, tourism, and global trade joined entertainment as pillars. And yet challenges remained: homelessness, housing shortages, environmental strain. In the 2000s and 2010s, Los Angeles found itself at the crossroads of the American story. It was a city of innovation, home to startups, artists, and movements. It was the cradle of content, from YouTube creators to Netflix studios. It was a cultural powerhouse, exporting music, food, fashion, and ideas. But it was also a city on the edge, struggling with fires, droughts, earthquakes, and a growing wealth gap. Luxury towers rose beside tent cities. Gentrification transformed neighborhoods like Echo Park and Boyle Heights. Locals fought to preserve identity, to protect their place in a city that constantly reinvents itself. And then came the pandemic. COVID-19 hit Los Angeles hard. Hospitals filled. The entertainment industry ground to a halt. Restaurants shuttered. Tourism vanished. Downtown streets fell silent. The homeless crisis deepened. But even in the darkest days, the city responded with resilience, with art, with solidarity. Murals went up. Food drives were held. Music played from apartment balconies. And the spirit of Los Angeles, the defiant optimism, the creative soul, endured. Los Angeles is not one thing. It never was. It is Hollywood and Skid Row. It is beachside yoga and Boyle Heights activism. It is Armenian bakeries in Glendale, mariachi bands in East LA, Vietnamese shops in the Valley. It is lowriders and Teslas. It is red carpets and cracked sidewalks. It is both the dream and the disillusionment. What makes Los Angeles unique is not just its fame or its beauty. It is its ability to hold contradictions. It is a city built on illusion but grounded in reality. A city where people come to escape and end up finding themselves. A city where nothing is promised, but anything is possible. It breaks hearts. It builds legends. It disappoints. It dazzles. It is a city that teaches you to survive, to hustle, to believe in things unseen. It's a place where stories begin and where endings are rewritten every day. In Los Angeles, the sunset always feels like a promise of something new, something bigger, something just out of reach. That promise has brought millions to its shores, to its studios, to its streets. Some make it, some don't, but all of them become part of the story. Los Angeles is more than a city. It's a living, breathing myth that continues to evolve. And whether you arrive in a limousine or on a Greyhound bus, one thing is certain: Los Angeles will change you. Because Los Angeles isn't just where dreams are made, it's where dreams are tested, where reality and imagination collide. And somehow, out of all the contradictions, something beautiful emerges, a city forever burning with the hope that tomorrow anything can happen. If this story moved you, inspired you, or helped you see Los Angeles in a new light, don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more unforgettable journeys into the heart of American history. Your support helps keep these stories alive.